So I got an email appeal from Operation Underground Railroad. They're running a campaign right now, and instead of deconstructing the whole thing like we usually do together, I thought let's just go over 5 key elements. I wanted to discuss the subject line of choice with you, the call to action, and then once we get to the donation page, I wanted to discuss something called the compromise effect. It describes how people make choices when they're given a list of options, and then also how to make the most of your dynamic fundraising thermometer. So those are the 4, I said 5, those are the 4 things I wanted to go over with you. Tim Ballard, the leader of this organization, they just had their movie The Sound of Freedom come out, and I'm surprised they don't have like a consultant on board helping them, because there are a lot of things they could be doing to optimize conversion rates, average gift size. And so let's just go over this, see what you can take from it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here is the email appeal I received. You will see the headline says, "Help us raise funds for the OUR Intelligence Lab." Let's stop here. Are they OUR? Are they Our Rescue? Or are they Operation Underground Railroad? I see that it's OUR, the acronym, but I'm just saying you want to use the same couple letters, same couple words, that we already have confusion. So let's talk about the subject line. Help us raise funds for the OUR Intelligence Lab. It's going to be more successful if you say, help me raise funds for the OUR Intelligence Lab. When there are 2 signers on a direct mail appeal, it will decrease the response rates. You want to have 1 person sign a direct mail appeal. For email, the same type of thing goes. You want 1 person writing it to 1 person. You don't want to refer to we and us. You want to talk to 1 person from 1 person. So if we were just going to make 1 change, it would be help me raise funds for the OUR Intelligence Lab. Now let's talk about what the OUR Intelligence Lab is. Is that intuitive? Do you know what that is? Do you know what it's going to do? No, you don't. This is a very ambiguous, they want to raise funds, but for what? So when you raise funds, you want to be very specific about what that person is going to do. You don't want to talk about programs. You don't want to talk about operations. You want to talk about outcomes. And so here they're talking about raising funds for a program. They should be asking to raise funds for an outcome. Then in the body of the email, you can get into what the Intelligence Lab is and does. So in terms of the subject line, they would have been better off saying, plugging my name in there, saying, Danielle, would you help me raise funds? ? Leave it at that. 1-to-1. Someone needs help. Let's not obscure it by mentioning program names. And we talk about the sender. It would be really nice if I could see a picture of Tim Ballard right here, the person that I follow on Instagram, the face behind this organization. Put a picture here so it's a human. Instead of it being from Operation Underground Railroad, couldn't it be from a person? That would increase open rates. Once I get to the body of the email, I do see their header at the top. And it's this is actually, even though it's like reverse type, we're having like color on a black background. It's still pretty easy to read because it's high contrast. So help fund the Indiana State University Forensics Lab. This type of phrasing should be in the body of the email. They should choose something very simple, immediately understandable to the reader. They should say something like, your help is needed, period. Help victims of human trafficking get immediate lab testing or something. That's really poor. I'm sorry, I'm doing it on the spot. Something that makes the impact immediately clear. And then they say announcing our OUR Intelligence Lab. They're basically combining an announcement with a need for funds, and those 2 things should be separate. Now, I do like the Be a Hero, and I like the picture they've used, because while it's not a story, it's not a picture of success, it's a picture of them on the ground. I don't even have to know what's happening in the picture, but immediately I know that I see Operation Underground Railroad with police, and I see I can be a hero. So I think that is a great image to have. And then below it, it says, help ISU raise funds for a forensics lab. Could they? I mean, this is basically 3 ways to say something, and it's always good to say things 3 different ways, but they're saying the wrong thing 3 times. So they're talking about a forensics lab as if the reader knows exactly what that forensics lab is going to do. I personally, as a donor, don't even know what their forensics lab is going to do. So it just needs to be intuitively, instantly understandable. Basically, we've raised half the money. We still need a $25,000. It would be really nice if they could give me a dollar amount that would make a meaningful difference. But regardless, I told you I wasn't going to dissect this, so I'm not going to. Let's just see this. So click the button below to donate and help us reach our goal. It should say click below to help a victim of human trafficking. I mean, donate. There have been studies that show instead of pushing donate, to instead communicate the action that donor's gift will make or the impact would be better. So if they could say donate to help a victim, or they could say give to save someone from human trafficking, that has been shown to be more successful than just saying donate. So when I click donate, it takes me to this landing page. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this with you. I am going to talk about the status bar, but what I do want to talk to you about is the compromise effect in terms of gift ask strings. So the compromise effect refers to the propensity of humans to choose an intermediate option and to avoid extremes. And so essentially, if I have 100 on one end as the low end and I've got 1,000 on the other end, those are two extremes. And you're very likely, regardless of which numbers are on the extreme ends of the spectrum, humans will gravitate towards an intermediate number. So a study by Mathias Ekström, I think I said his name right, he did a direct mail appeal. He ran a couple studies just to see how strong the compromise effect was. And so what he did was he took a gift ask string, and the highest gift amount was 100. He added two additional numbers that were greater than 100. So maybe, I can't remember, maybe 200, 300, so that 100 now became the intermediate option. When he added those two more extreme, higher dollar amounts, the average gift size became much larger because 100 became the intermediate option. That is an example of the compromise effect. Now let's talk about the fundraising thermometer. Fundraising thermometers are most effective when the goal is closer to being reached. So if I were to see this thermometer and only $100 have been raised, or 1,000 or 2,000, it's far less likely to be effective in increasing the number of people who give and increasing the average gift size than if it was at this current amount of 15,000. The closer we get to the goal, the more probable it seems within the donor's mind that their gift is going to make a meaningful difference and they're going to help bring this organization across the finish line. So if you have a fundraising thermometer, you're going to want to schedule it to go up at a certain time and go down at a certain time. So you're going to want it to show up on the page once you pass a certain threshold, a fundraising threshold, so that it encourages more gifts. You don't want a fundraising thermometer if you've just started fundraising, as it might, you want to test it, but it could discourage giving. And then clearly, once you've raised your goal, you don't want to have that on there if you want to continue raising funds. So I also wanted to mention that Bloomerang recommended putting up this fundraising thermometer once you've hit about 60 to 85% of your total fundraising goals. So again, that's just a number for you that Bloomerang has suggested in terms of when to use a fundraising thermometer. We also have social proof with this. So that's also an aspect of the fundraising thermometer. You'll see here, they're showing who has made donations. And so once again, this is social proof. I also wanted to mention, I forgot before, when we talk about the compromise effect, humans are less likely to adhere to that effect when there is brand loyalty present. So people will choose extremes, like they might choose to give $1,000 if that's the highest end of the gift ask string, if there's a lot of brand loyalty. So that's something else to consider. If you have a very strong, passionate donor base, the compromise effect might not be something that's applicable to all your donors, as they're passionate and they want to give, and they might choose extremes. In terms of the fundraising status bar, the more dynamic you can make it, the better. And so humans really love instant gratification. So if there's any way you can make it so this little toggle moves when someone gives, no matter how big their gift is, you want it to be as dynamic as possible. So real quick, I wanted to go back to the body email with you, and I wanted to mention 3 quick things. You want to make it really easy to give. Again, this is a great image. Asking me to be a hero to help someone is compelling. So let's make it easy to give. Tom Ahern always says, single most important thing. So if the single most important thing is a gift, you really want a button at the top, the middle, and the bottom. Julie Cooper recommends top right, big and bright. I love that. And then next after, they've tested just doing links to give, because humans typically don't send other humans buttons. Like if I were to send you an email and say, hey friend, would you donate to this cause I'm passionate about? I wouldn't give you a button, I'd give you a link. So if you're going to use buttons, like Julie Cooper said, top right, big and bright, like Tom said, single most important thing, single most SMIT, you're going to want top, middle, bottom. If you want to test it, I would definitely test just doing a link to give, like next after is done. Their studies have shown links sometimes outperform buttons, but you want to make it easy to give. And so that is something you're going to want in the body of the email versus just one button. They also should be taking out their social links, by the way. Last thing is a 2022 study by Litmus. they said, I think about 41% of emails only get viewed for 2 to 8 seconds, and then 30% or less are only viewed for 2 seconds. So that's just one more reason why to make the most important thing, and that would be asking for a gift, making it very compelling, very clear why they should give, and making it easy. Thank you for hanging with me. I hope you took some good stuff away from this. I'm the founder of Grow Better. My name is Danielle Wallace. I help small to mid-sized nonprofits optimize their fundraising strategy. So if you are in need of someone and you think we might be a good fit, book a call with me. I've got a link in bio and I'd love to connect with you. So anyways, thank you for your time and I will chat with you next week.